Hey everyone, welcome to the Libertarian Candidate Soapbox. We're going to get started here in just a second. I thought I had figured out how to play the fancy pre-show music, but I have not figured that out yet. So I'm going to go ahead and try to invite our candidates to be speakers, and once we have a few of those lined up, we'll begin. So just hang on one second. All right, and candidates, please be on the lookout for speaker invites, or please request an invite from me as soon as you get into the space. Once we have about 3 speakers lined up, we'll get started. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get us started now. I think we're just about where we want to be. I think we had Ryan in first. So, well, hold on one second here. There we go. Sorry, I had a lot more time to prepare for the last space that we had back in back in the spring. But anyway, all right, 5:30. I think we can definitely safely begin now. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Will Hobson. I'm the X-Space coordinator for Libertarian Party National. Welcome to our X-Space for our Libertarian candidate Soapbox. We're going to get updated on how the different races are going across America. And I think we'll begin first with Ryan Woodcraft. Ryan, if you want to go ahead and unmute and go ahead and give us an update.
Hi, Will. Yeah, thanks. So for those that I haven't met yet, and it looks like there's a room full, my name is Ryan Woodcraft. I live in El Paso, Texas, and I'm running for County Commissioner in Precinct 1 here. It is a three-party race in a heavily Democratic county, but the message of liberty and financial freedom is spreading like wildfire. We're really excited about the momentum that our campaign has picked up. I made an X post a couple days ago where we have disenfranchised folks that usually vote Republican that are jumping on board with our campaign. We have some of those moderate Democrats that are really focused on financial responsibility. The taxes are too damn high and our debt is too damn much. And they're jumping on board with our campaign. And every day that we knock on doors and we block walk and we make phone calls, we are picking up more and more supporters, and we're really excited. Personally, when our presidential nominee, Chase Oliver, is out here in El Paso, he challenged me to knock on as many doors as I can. And I personally have just hit my 3,000th door this past week. I'm on my third pair of shoes. And so we are putting in the groundwork here in El Paso to expand the message of liberty at the local level. So we're really excited about how this is going to turn out. I absolutely refuse to spend money on polls. I don't care what the numbers look like. We're going to keep our foot on the gas until the very end, and we're going to come out of this thing with a win.
Excellent. And can you state again what district you were in?
Precinct 1 for El Paso County.
Precinct 1 for El Paso County. All right. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything you can tell us about what's been unique about your campaign? Anything interesting that's happened, or any personal observations you had?
Yeah, so I think the biggest challenge, one, other than being a third-party candidate in a heavily Democratic area, is just running against the Democratic machine. Our U.S. Congress representative is Veronica Escobar. She's one of the co-chairs of the Biden/Harris/Walz campaign for president. And typically what she says goes. You know, she's kind of the boss that runs the show. And so what we're realizing is even though there's folks that are supportive, we're not going to get the media attention. We're not going to get the donors. We're not going to get some of that stuff just because Veronica says. And so it's already more of an uphill battle. What I find really exciting is that more and more people are becoming aware of that, and it really upsets them. And so when I tell them I'm the person that's running to tear this machine down brick by brick, they get really excited that somebody's finally willing to stop talking trash on social media and roll up their sleeves and get to work. And it's just kind of that blue collar mentality of, you know, I'm sick and tired of waiting for somebody to step up and do something. I'm going to be that someone. And that resonates. That's been a really big observation for me.
Excellent. Great. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing that. And is there a handle that people can follow you at here on Twitter or X? Sorry, keep meaning to call it X. So go ahead.
I call it Twix, especially in the political world, right? Like the left Twix and the right Twix. It's all the same thing. But here on X, I am at Woodcraft, the number 4 EP. And you can find me on Facebook or Instagram under something similar, Woodcraft for El Paso. And then my website, woodcraftforelpaso.com.
All right. Thank you so much, Ryan. Really appreciate it. Give me 1 second here. I think we'll go next with Chris Cunningham. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, your name, and what district you're running in, go for it.
Yeah, I will. Thanks for having me. Appreciate being here, everybody. My name's Chris Cunningham. I'm running for U.S. Senate here in the great state of Nevada. So been kind of coming out of the gates a little bit on my campaign. It's a little bit of a unique situation where we were thinking that it could be an 8-way race with a series of independents. None of them ended up getting signatures. And now it's ending up being a 4-way race. So definitely gives me a lot of optimism to make an impact in this race. Running against Jackie Rosen and Sam Brown. And really the biggest thing is that there's just been such an erosion of trust, especially in the state of Nevada, in regards to how the duopoly has been kind of handling different outcomes here in the state, especially when it comes to the economy. So one of the reasons why I'm running for U.S. Senate at 32 years old is really just trying to kind of bring that youth movement into the Libertarian Party, trying to energize and engage younger voters to get engaged with the process and just sort of be an evangelist for libertarianism and spreading liberty. I mean, there's just no doubt that Nevadans are painfully frustrated right now. We have a very authoritarian government. A lot of the individuals within the duopoly are corrupt at not only the federal, but the state and even the local level. And it's created a lot of issues, especially with uphill battles in regards to the mainstream media and getting access there just due to some corruption and lots of things that have been happening in sort of the echo chamber here of Vegas politics. So my goal as a candidate really is focusing on balancing the budget, reducing taxes, trying to stabilize our economy, bring awareness to a lot of the key issues, being anti-war, and just serving as a viable alternative to the broken two-party system that's pushing for bigger government and limiting it as much as possible. So, I'm going to be supporting bills and policies that promote individual freedoms, that protect Nevadans, and ones that ultimately prevent the government from giving more power over how you live your life. So basically, I'm based out of Las Vegas. Nevada is a big state. I'm going to be up in Reno on Labor Day weekend. So I'm excited to say that. I'm working with a series of individuals that are a little bit disenfranchised with some of the other candidates in the race, and they're going to be supporting me in creating some ads. So I'm going to be kind of up there for two purposes, doing a little bit of filming and then doing a little bit of reaching out and getting some exposure to some of those individuals upstate. So yeah, really excited for the campaign and really looking forward to hearing what the other candidates have to offer here across the country in their respective areas.
Nice. Well, excellent. We look forward to hearing more from it. Has there been any interesting observations you've had or like anything unique about your campaign that's happened so far?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing right now in regards to what I've seen is I'm glad that it's ultimately going to be a little bit more of a narrower race than I had anticipated. That's going to make it a little bit easier to get some general exposure. But the biggest issue, especially in Las Vegas, not sure if anyone here nationwide is aware, it's just going to be a little bit of an uphill battle with the mainstream media and getting attention. Back in 2022, there was a Clark County, that's the county Vegas is in, the town administrator ended up allegedly murdering a reporter. So the mainstream media and the local media here is very guarded. So that's something that I've learned a little bit about from my initial rookie run in 2022, running as a state senator. So that's just going to be the biggest battle, trying to think of unique ways to engage with the younger audience and also other Nevadans on social media. And ultimately, I think with this filming trip I'm going to have, that's going to allow me to have some different material to be able to, distribute across the internet. And ultimately, the North Star would be to get some local TV ad buys if I can raise enough funds from, individual donors, not special interest groups or PACs here in the next 2 months.
All right. Excellent. Well, is there a Twitter handle that people can follow you at and a website they can check out if they want to know more?
Yeah, for sure. You can reach out to me at Nightcrawler CC. That's my gaming name. I'm actually in the esports space when I'm not doing politics, but at Nightcrawler CC on Instagram and Twitter or X. And you can visit my campaign website at cunninghamfornevada.com.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming on today. And FYI, at the end-ish of this space, we're going to be talking to our presidential candidate, Chase Oliver, and we're going to be hearing about how the presidential campaign's going. So look forward to that. Don't leave. And once you hear your favorite candidate or Another candidate, make sure to stick around. Chase Oliver is going to be speaking. So let's go to our next candidate, Josh. Why don't you go ahead and tell us how your campaign's going?
Awesome. Thanks for having me on tonight and hosting this here, guys. My name's Josh Holofka. I'm running for Florida House out here in District 105. For those of you who weren't on the last space we did here on X, that district is about a 10 by 6 rectangular box here in Broward County. Makes up a very big urban minority population here. And I'm running heads up against a 2-term incumbent Democrat here. So just me and her in the race. Marie Woodson's numbers have gone down every election cycle. So there's definitely opportunity out here. And I mean, I work out with the general public and, just talking with constituents over the especially last couple of weeks as we're getting closer, now with the RNC happening and the DNC is happening right now, actually going on live. And, a lot of people, it's just really great conversations. People are talking about the economy, putting food on the table. How am I going to pay my bills? Why is everything here in Florida getting so dang expensive all of a sudden? And, I moved here 5 years ago and, it's getting crazy all of a sudden, now. So, I mean, we're having a lot of really good success fundraising. There's always more room for more donations. So if you got $5, $10 sitting around that you need, joshuaholofka.com. You can go there, hit the donate button, throw us a couple bucks here. But campaign's been going good, and we're looking forward to just keep talking with constituents out here and, hearing what people in District 105 are caring about, looking for, and, what kind of policies matter to them.
All right. And great to hear. And Josh, is there anything that's been interesting or unique about this campaign for you?
Really, I think it's the fact that there's never been a libertarian in the entire history of District 107 105 that's ever run for office. So for constituents, it's really just, when I'm talking with them, they don't know what a libertarian is a lot of times. So, I'm really, in some cases, their first interaction. And a lot of times it's really positive. A lot of people, they kind of know already who they're going to kind of vote for, but you notice most people really don't have a team or a side, so to speak, and having that direct interaction with a candidate like myself has been really great. And like I said, I've been having a lot of really positive interactions. Surprisingly, I'm not getting as much pushback for this being a Democrat stronghold on a lot of policies like cutting taxes. I've talked about how the social welfare programs really aren't to the benefit of the citizens of District 105. How taxes and the regulation of the insurance market here in Florida has devastated us and made it really expensive for all of us to live, whether you own a home or you're renting down here, because regardless of which one it is, everybody's seen mortgages have gone up, homeowners insurance have gone up, rent's gone up as a result here. So, people care just really about how are we going to survive and make it in this economy. And just having those conversations is obviously both sides of the aisle and hearing that positive feedback about things I'm saying and libertarian policies that we could actually enact if I was elected. It's really heartening, and it kind of gives me a little bit of a faith back in society that, people do care about freedom. They do care about liberty. And it's, it makes me excited to get out there and continue to talk with people out there and, any space that I can get my, voice into, so to speak, including this one.
Excellent. Glad to hear. And yeah, it sounds great that we've got a candidate in a district for the first time for the Libertarian Party. Josh, do you want to go ahead and shout out your Twitter handle so people can follow you and website they can go check out?
Yep. I'll give a second shout out. So website Joshua, so that's the UA at the end, Holofka.com there. Twitter handle is Holofka for Florida here, guys. But I've noticed that if you click on anybody's little like icon bubble there, if you not already following them, you can actually hit the following button, send them DMs. All my DMs are open. If you don't like what you heard and you hate libertarians, you can block me as well. It gives you the ability to block everybody. But everybody, if you haven't already, give me a follow. Check out my website. The link's in my Twitter bio as well there. Once again, if you got a couple dollars laying around, throw me a few bucks here. We're putting out signs. We're getting up door hangers. We're putting out placards. We're putting stuff on cars. We're talking to people. We're handing out business cards here. So anything you can do to assist with that, that'll be great. And hopefully if I can fundraise enough before October, we can put up a billboard here because we have a lot of major roadways and pipelines that go all through my district that are heavily trafficked, and nothing would be better than making my campaign opponent have to drive down to work every day and have to stare at my ugly mug on a billboard while she waits at a red light.
Wow. All right. Well, yeah, everyone, as soon as someone starts speaking, go click their icon and go click Josh's and give them a follow. Yeah, everyone, follow everyone. Let's get the networking happening here. All right. Thanks, Josh. I think we'll go next to Mike Ross in North Carolina. Mike, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and what district you're running in.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on, and thanks to everybody for coming on and listening to us on our soapboxes tonight. So I'm Mike Ross. I'm the Libertarian running for governor of North Carolina. First time running for office. I kind of got my start in politics a couple of years ago, really as an activist, just a citizen that was upset at seeing something in my local community. And as someone who was pretty new to the party showed up big for me. And thanks to somebody who some of y'all may know, Spike Cohen, we ended up getting national news attention for the case of Joshua Rohrer and Pastor Moses. And that was kind of my baby. And somewhere around like Rally 7, some people started floating the idea of running for governor, which I kind of laughed off. And then by Rally 9, when we started kind of getting some wins against the government, some libertarians I respected convinced me to say yes. So we had a primary, and I put together a platform that tries to kind of heal the divide in North Carolina. They're really pushing division in our state and trying to polarize the population. And I think that libertarian solutions are better for everybody. So I thought put forward a libertarian platform, give somebody, rather than a lesser of two evils, something good to vote for. And run a positive campaign. I realized at the top of the ticket, I'm a statistics guy. I was a financial planner by trade. So I understand the statistics. So the goals, of course, are, at the top of the ticket, secure ballot access for our state so that down ballot libertarians can continue to run and challenge the status quo in their communities, because I do think that the ultimate change to liberty is going to happen from the ground up. In our local communities, where we can connect with our neighbors who may believe different things and work together for liberty in our communities. I truly believe that that's going to be where we get our biggest wins and how we push and shift the Overton window. So I view that as being a messenger to help elevate our other candidates. We're looking to build infrastructure, working with other council of state candidates to try to build networks in all 100 counties to leave the party stronger as a result of the campaign and make things easier for future candidates, as well as grow the party from there, and as well as local candidates who are in much more statistically winnable races. I want to help elevate them. And so far, just take the libertarian message to people all across the state of all ideologies, right? It doesn't matter if it's a gun show, a pride fest, anything in between. Everybody out there, when you approach them with a reasonable, honest approach and have a conversation with them, I think they're much more open to libertarian ideas. As far as my website, if you like what you're hearing and want to support my campaign, we are continuing to put yard signs up, door knocking, and flyers targeting kind of areas, specifically targeting more young people. You can head over to my website, firetheuniparty.com. It's the same on my socials, at firetheuniparty. But yeah, that's a little bit about there. I have a whole platform dealing with a whole bunch of things that libertarians want to see: ending qualified immunity, ending the drug war, many of those things, but of course packaged in a way that I think is resonating with kind of the center and the moderates within North Carolina.
Excellent. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, going after the governor's seat right off the bat. That's it's a big bite to take out of the political system. All right. Awesome. Can you go ahead and shout out your Twitter handle and your website one more time?
Yeah, it's at Fire the Uniparty, and the website's firetheuniparty.com. And just to mention it, because you asked for all the other candidates, as far as just something interesting, right? Being a first-time candidate, what I've really found interesting, and I don't know if it's like this in all the other states for other candidates, but there's a lot of third-party unity going on in North Carolina right now, because we had huge ballot access fights, something that libertarians have known for far too long that it's a drain on resources. So we took a principled stand with many other parties here. And, we've kind of at the state party level, we've seen, support and thanks coming from everything from Cornel West to RFK, because we believe as libertarians who've been fighting this battle against the state and spending millions of dollars just to be on the ballot, we need more choices, not less. So that unity has really been kind of unique. I wasn't expecting it, and it's really made campaigning at such a high level kind of a pleasure.
All right, excellent. Thank you. We will go now to, I think, who was the last? Oh, let's go with Matt Johnson from Florida. Matt, if you want to go ahead and give us your full name and the district you're running in, let us know what's going on.
Sure. Thanks again for hosting this. I think it's awesome to see the LP doing this for our down ballot candidates. Thanks everybody for joining and listening to support our candidates. My name is Matt Johnson. I'm running for Florida State House of Representatives in District 29, which is in Volusia County, Florida. Most people think of Volusia County, they might think of Daytona Beach. I'm actually on the west side of the county, DeLand, which is the county charter, DeLand and Deltona, Lake Helen, Mims, Samsula, a lot of places most people don't really recognize, probably unless they live in the area. DeLand, where I live, is actually a college town, home to Stetson University, so it's a very tricky political climate here. I got involved politically back in 2016, just as kind of an activist when right after the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas happened and the Florida pro-gun GOP started talking about red flag laws and things of that nature. And I organized in a very short matter of time before that bill passed a very large rally. And that was what kind of swayed me away from the GOP. They campaign like they're small L libertarians, and then as soon as they get to office, they're authoritarian tyrants, just like the other side. So my first run was actually right after the COVID nonsense. I ran here. I decided to run with like 2 months left to go for city commission here in DeLand as a no name to the political sphere. Nobody knew me. Running against a very popular Republican incumbent in a heavily red area. And I managed to take 36% of the vote away from him. So it showed me that, the message of liberty, the message of libertarianism resonates with the red voters, even if they don't understand that we're the party that will actually give them the freedom that they want. So now I'm running, like I said, for state house against a two-time incumbent Republican, MAGA, Trump-endorsed tyrant, and he is a tyrant. He's on video in chambers in session calling the LGBT community demons and mutants, among voting for stripping away the freedoms and the rights of the members of Volusia County. So I decided that he needed a challenger. Nobody's going to challenge him in a heavily red area because they're all going to do what their master wants them to do. So I've been out there hosting events, meeting people face to face where they are, talking to them in the community. We're having actually a candidate forum town hall event, not this coming weekend, but the next, where we have 4 candidates who will be on the ballot in Volusia County that will all be in attendance. So I think that's pretty neat. It's going to be in Lake Helen, which is one of the cities in my district, and I've talked to people there, and they seem to regularly be forgotten by the Uniparty. And I think that seems to be the case in my entire district, whether they will freely admit it or not. So, yeah, that said, my website is mattforflhouse.com, and my X is mattforflhouse. And yeah, I'm just out there spreading the message. And a very winnable race, I will add.
Nice. Well, thank you. I think you ticked off all the things I was going to ask. So thanks for coming, Matt. And everyone, please go follow Matt Johnson for Florida House. We wish you well.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. We will now move to Sonia Fintesh from Oregon, who I am good friends with. And let's hear about her campaign. Go ahead, Sonia.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on. And this is awesome. It's really cool to hear from all these candidates around the country. This is super interesting time. So it's just really nice to see. So yeah, I'm Sonia Fintish. I'm running for U.S. Congress here in Oregon for the District 5 race. And yeah, I'm running here in Oregon as a response to the extremely poor leadership by the incumbent, Lori Chavez DeRimmer, and personally as a very strong believer of pushing back against any and all war hawks in office. Conservatives and liberty-minded non-affiliated voters in Oregon are pretty fed up with their hard-earned dollars going to fund foreign wars while they struggle to pay for groceries and conduct business here in our state. And I honestly believe that they're looking for an alternative to all of the crappy candidates, the poor representation that our Oregon Republican Party keeps shoving down our throats. Like, this is a blue state. So Libertarian Party, I feel like most people I know are leaning the other direction as a counterbalance. And the conservatives and the grassroots candidates that I talk to, or constituents, I mean, they're very confused about why this representation keeps on showing up. So this is a nationally recognized battleground race, and it has really, really tight margins. It's known as a toss-up. And this is a really great opportunity for a truly Liberty First, America First candidate to step up to the stage, create some ripples in the system. And my background is I'm a regenerative farmer. I'm a mother of 3, medical freedom activist. I started back in 2021 after the first year of the lockdowns and the mandates, and then it just kept going on and on. And I got to know so many people and had so much support. And I saw this really amazing core group of people kind of rise up out of Oregon and react to what was happening. And a lot of people being like, oh, all of this government intervention is kind of a problem. We don't really want this. And then that, of course, bleeds into the anti-war movement, which is a beautiful thing to see the combination. My main policies that I'd be focusing on is rolling back the regulatory state, confining my policies to try and honor Article 1, Section 8. And I have a lot of personal opinions on things, but as a representative of Oregon, my main goals would be to help preserve state rights, roll back things to the state, because there are a lot of bills that are passed in Congress that I see as just a broad interpretation of the Constitution that are completely unconstitutional and should be confined back to the states, and not the federal government shouldn't have anything to do about it whatsoever. Focus on foreign policy for a non-interventionist perspective, supporting Defend the Guard legislation in each state in Oregon, and rescinding the War Powers Act and reducing and eliminating the massive tax burden on the great people of Oregon. And my opponents, so we have the Democrat Janelle Bynum and the Republican Lori Chavez DeRimmer. Right now, they're fighting to the death. They're spending so much money. They're raising millions and millions of dollars to attack each other online and on TV, and it's kind of gross to watch. But we, with the Libertarian Party, are building an amazing fundraising campaign, and anything anyone can do to support my campaign through donations or volunteers, people to go door knock, can help put a huge dent in the efforts of the opposition that are just raising money like crazy. So you can support the campaign at soniafororegon.com. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Sonia, has there been anything that's been particularly unique about this race that you've found or that you've experienced?
Yeah, it's been pretty wild. I have people coming out of the woodwork. People, like when I did the medical freedom protests, the main core group, the people that show up to all of the events that we were throwing, were conservative, and they were Republicans, and they were Christians, but they were kind of this weird subsect of like super liberty-minded, small government, almost like the original Tea Party movement. And they would run these grassroots campaigns all the time, and they would get such massive pushback from the Oregon Republican Party. So they were kind of lost and confused. And those are the people that have actually been popping their heads out and being like, hey, by the way, we really support you. We would love to see a candidate like you. Like, it's too bad you're not a Republican, but like, they've been showing up, and I'm getting a ton of support from them. And I think that we can pick up a lot of non-affiliated voters here. So that's been the best part, like very heartening to see all those people show up to support my campaign.
Excellent. Glad to hear. And if you could really quickly shout out your X handle and your website, we'd love to hear that.
Yeah, my X handle is Sonia Agora, and my website is soniafororegon.com. And I apologize for any background noise. My 4-year-old daughter is hanging out with me right now.
No apology needed. Awesome. Thanks, Sonia. We'll go next. Let's see, who is next? Let's go to Fina. I hope I said your first name correctly.
Yes, you did. Hello, folks. My name is Fina Benoit, and I am running for U.S. Senate out of the Great Sunshine State, the Free State. Another candidate from Florida in the house, folks. Hello. I see a lot of folks here that I've already met and talked to, if not in person, then online, because I host a campaign update every single week. This week was episode 12, and we have 2 candidates that come on every week, and we do a presidential candidate update too. So I got to plug that. Have to plug that, because when I came out here to Florida to run for office, well, I didn't come out here just to run for office. I just happened to be somebody who runs for office who moved to Florida, because this is my 3rd run, folks. My first 2 runs were in Hawaii. I was raised in North Carolina, got some North Carolina people in here. That's like, that's a great state to grow up libertarian in. And I'm so happy to be back in Florida, the state that I was born in. And I was just looking over the numbers, folks, just looking over these primary numbers. We need a gold rush in the Senate, in the U.S. Senate. We are never going to win a Senate seat if we do not run for the Senate. And I didn't originally want to run for office this year, but I am, because of that. We're never going to get a U.S. Senator that's a libertarian if we don't have someone running to be a libertarian U.S. Senator. So, we need a gold rush. I'm all about term limits, free markets. I'm a veteran. I'm an artist. This is my 2nd run for U.S. Senate. I also definitely believe in down ballot candidates and running a more local style race. Your first run, my first run was 2020, and I ran for state Senate, and did pretty well there. And that's the good news about libertarianism. On these local levels, we are winning. Well, if we're not winning, we're definitely giving them a run for their money. So I was looking at this primary that just happened here in Florida tonight, and I'm listening to some other Florida candidates that are here tonight talking about what the good work that they're doing in their state, in their districts. And I'm looking at these primary numbers, and I think it's a good thing that in these regions, in these counties that are reporting, and we've got candidates that are running on local level on my race for the U.S. Senate, they have the highest number of people that are going against the machine that is the Republicans and the Democrats. And when we get senators in office, libertarian senators elected as libertarians, we're going against the machine. We are doing it for the people. We are doing it for free markets. We are doing it for open trade. That is the number 1 issue with all Americans right now, is the economy. Number 2 is war. We will end, we will not get into any more wars for one thing, but end all the wars. Could you imagine if we got one libertarian in the U.S. Senate? We could finally get some action, some movement on things that the American people have wanted for decades, like legalization of marijuana. That's an easy win. Lowering taxes, that's an easy win. Ending the Jones Act. That's all we need in the office right now is someone that can bridge those two divides that we have, that duopoly of I've got to vote yes because the other side said no. That's crap. That's crap, and it's not how the government should be. I'm also very in favor of criminal justice reform. I've got a criminal justice background. But yeah, I'm so happy to be running for U.S. Senate out here in Florida. Check out the campaign update that happens on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. If you're a candidate, would love to have you on. If you've got commercials, we're playing commercials. Some of you folks have already been on. I've got some of you scheduled for the future, and some of you guys ain't answering my emails, but that's okay. I still want you on. And so that is on Tuesdays. I stream it on X, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, my Facebook, Mike Scott's Facebook, who's also the host. He's running for U.S. Senate in Maryland. And, we're trying to gather as many folks that are running for U.S. Senate as libertarians to come together and, be a force. That's exactly what the Republicans and Democrats do. They gather their troops and they become a force. We had today on the campaign update, Chris Cunningham's from Nevada that was just speaking. He's running for U.S. Senate. There's Ted Brown in Texas. There's all these great candidates that are coming up that are great deliverers of the libertarian message. And I'm looking forward to going down and campaigning with every single candidate in Florida. I'm gonna see you somehow. You can't hide from me. If you're hiding from me, you're not gonna be able to hide from me for long, because I'm gonna show up. I'll show up in the middle of the night and I'll have a sign and I'll just be out by the road waving or something. I don't know. But yeah, so check out my Instagram. You can check out my YouTube, Facebook. It's all the same. Google me, Fina Benoan. Follow me. If you don't follow me, that's fine too. I probably won't follow you if you don't follow me, though, because I don't know. Yeah, so that's all I've got. You got any questions for me, sir?
I guess, would you say there's been anything particularly unique or interesting about your race so far?
100%. There's been a lot of unique and interesting things. For one thing, I'm doing this campaign update once a week, right? And that was something that the folks here in Florida, when I had to raise that humongous qualification fee out here, folks, I know we talking money. We are talking money. And Florida has some of the highest qualifying fees in the country. And I know the people here in the Libertarian Party of Florida, they didn't really know me that well. I've been living on an island, minding my own business like a good libertarian does. And they were minding theirs, not minding the island, right? So I got to win their trust. And so they're like, do a podcast. A lot of folks were like, do a podcast. I was like, okay, all right, I'll do this podcast. See, what they didn't understand is I got a film degree. And so we were going to do this, and we were going to do it right. We're going to do it clean. We were going to do it scheduled. And I think we're doing a great job with this campaign update. We've got the Chase Oliver team that comes on. And this, for me, what's the most unique part of this campaign is the networking that I've done. In my previous campaigns, being on an island chain, it was hard to work with other libertarians because there's an ocean apart, literally. So it's been really great working with Joe Hanoush out here and the Libertarian Party of Florida. I've got Hector Roos on my team who shows up to every week. We do a meeting for the campaign specifically. That's not the campaign update. It's a real campaign meeting. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. This is my home state that I was born in. So I've got to know some of my family that I didn't get to know when I was younger because I wasn't raised here. So that's been very rewarding to me personally. And I'm just excited. This is a big race. This is a huge race. Like, it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Excellent. Great. Well, yeah, we look forward to hearing more about it. And yeah, everyone, please go follow Fina. And then, yeah, can you throw out your Twitter handle one more time, or sorry, X handle one more time, and website people can go check out?
Sure. So my Twitter handle is at Fina Bonoan, and that's FEE to the NABONOAN. And I have a couple websites. I have Fina for Us, FinaBonoan.com, Fina.Senate.com, and I'm on YouTube as Fina Bonoan, Instagram, Fina, Facebook, Fina. New bumper stickers that say Fina, Libertarian.
All right. Excellent. Thank you for the update.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Yeah. We'll go next to, who was next? I think we'll go Rob Latham from Utah. Rob, go ahead and give us an update on your campaign, and yeah, and let us know where you're running in, or what district.
Hey, Will. Hey, everyone. Rob Latham, running for governor in Utah. Have the website up, freeutahns.org. Social media is up. Intention is to grow the Liberty vote in Utah. Been advertising on social media, electronic billboards, streaming audio and podcasts, yard signs, door hangers, all that other campaign swag. Was invited to speak at a press conference at the Utah State Capitol 2 weeks ago in opposition to Utah's first execution in 14 years, and that actually yielded a fair amount of media coverage. We have a local think tank. We have several. One's called the Utah Foundation. They, around election season, they issue what's called the Utah Priority Survey. And two of the top issues that were in their survey were government overreach, and another one was politicians not listening to voters. And both those issues do lend themselves well to a libertarian campaign. So I've tailored my message to address those items. And then I'll say that what's maybe, every state is idiosyncratic. Utah's no exception. What has been unique about this gubernatorial campaign in Utah, originally I thought it would just be, a three-way race. But the Utah Republican Party, which is pretty dominant in Utah, is kind of split down the middle between conservative camp and the libertarian camp. And there was a challenger to the incumbent governor, who's probably kind of be considered a moderate, but probably also in the conservative camp. Anyway, his libertarian-minded challenger, or conservative, depending on your perspective, beat him at convention, but then lost in the primary, and then did an interesting thing where he sued to knock him off the ballot, saying he was not the right candidate. He's also suing over some questions about signatures to get into the primary. And now he's announced within the past week or so he's going to run a write-in campaign. So we now have an interesting scenario where we kind of have a four-way race, and the winner could prevail with just over 25% of the vote. So I've appreciated, by the way, just some of the contributions and attention from around Utah and elsewhere. All of that, I shouldn't say all of that, but a good chunk of that just basically goes into expanding our message, getting those electronic billboards up. We have a Utah Debate Commission that is modeled on the now failed, Commission on Presidential Debates. I did qualify for that 4 years ago when I ran for Congress in Utah. So I was one of three candidates on the stage debating the Republican and Democrat. That'll be a tall order to get the 10% needed statewide. to get in that debate, but I've done it before. So we're kind of pushing to see if that may happen again. There are a lot of folks unhappy with the incumbent governor and are giving my campaign and candidacy a serious look. My X handle is at Free Utahns. Again, the website's freeutahns.org, and lathamforutahns.us also works.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much. Love hearing the update. We will go, I think, with our second to last candidate, and then we'll finish with our presidential candidate, Chase Oliver here. Let's go with David Moskrip. I think I've got that last name correct, right?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm the chair for Hillsborough and Region 8 rep for Florida. I'm not actually a candidate, but I'm speaking on behalf of Nathaniel Snyder. We, as many of you know, we had our primary here in Florida today. He's actually on the phone right now with the Republicans who lost about potential endorsements. So that's how awesome of a job we're doing down here right now. The Tampa Bay area, for those of you who don't know, it's 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So 1/3 Democrat, 1/3 Republican, 1/3 NPA/minority party voters. And Nathaniel has been on multiple TV candidate forums on the stage with Democrats and Republican candidates. Just like we're making history with every single thing that he does, because this hasn't been done in Tampa for at least 2 decades. So it's pretty freaking amazing. I want to say love Fina, Matt, Gabrielle, like all of my Florida people who are on here. I know I'm missing people. And of course, Chase, like amazing. We're going to have Mike Termott down here to do a joint fundraiser this Sunday evening. But I just wanted to give an update, just say, Nathaniel is doing the work that needs to be done. We're buying a bunch of yard signs that we're going to start putting out soon. And if anybody wants to find out more about him, go to Snyder4fl14.com, or you can shoot me an email, chair@lphillsborough.com, and I'll send you, whatever info you want to know. But he's definitely a candidate worth donating to, in addition to any of the other Florida candidates, because we're killing it here. Like, we've got people all across the state running. So I just wanted to make sure he didn't get lost in the mix, because he's, doing what he should be doing as a candidate, and, getting endorsements and doing the work right now. So, yeah, thanks so much for letting me just have a moment to speak and just give you an update about what's happening right now in the Tampa Bay area.
Excellent. No problem, David. Glad to hear that. All right. And thank you for all of our candidates for coming to speak. We're going to now switch over to Chase Oliver, our presidential candidate. And Joe, my co-host, if you want to chime in with a question or two, figure we'll give Chase a little bit longer to talk, since he's got a little bit more ground to cover than the other candidates. So Chase, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to people that haven't gotten to know you yet, go ahead.
Well, first and foremost, thanks for having me. And yeah, if you haven't gotten to meet me yet, my name is Chase Oliver. I am your 2024 candidate for President of the United States, and I'm really honored to be doing that. Before we get going, I just got a few things I want to say. First and foremost, happy birthday to Ron Paul. It's his 89th birthday. I think Ron Paul just shows you that even at 89, you can be more coherent than Joe Biden at 84 or whatever it is. He's decades more coherent than both of the major party candidates for president. And I was really happy to see him at our convention in D.C. And it was really kind of nice to see all the kids sitting around listening to Grandpa Ron spinning tales of liberty. So let's all give a shout out to Ron Paul for his birthday. Hope he's celebrating a good one with his family. Second thing I'd like to say is thank you to all the other candidates who have been on this call. So many of you have done so many great things. Ryan, knocking on 3,000 doors. I mean, that's crazy. Awesome work. I challenged you to do it, and boy, did you deliver in well ahead of time before Election Day. So I guess I got some ground to cover with you. We'll probably be knocking on some doors for the second or third time by the time I get out to El Paso and join you. But that's amazing work. Mike, running for governor of North Carolina, I watched you during your primary process. You and your primary opponent both, you guys ran a very nice race. Now you're running as the gubernatorial and lieutenant gubernatorial candidate in the state, showing the unity that our party really needs. And thank you for always being somebody that's been a great friend while I'm out in the state of North Carolina, doing fantastic work. Fina, this is your second time running for Senate, first time out there in Hawaii. Now you're out here in the Sunshine State. I want to say thank you for being a multi-time candidate. Thank you for your positivity and your devotion to sharing the message of other candidates within and without, outside of Florida. That's fantastic, and it's something that all of us want to, be doing. I want to make sure as the top of the ticket candidate, I want to be shouting out candidates just as much as you are. And thank you for doing that work. And thank you for being a veteran libertarian, somebody who comes to the Libertarian Party having been a veteran of the unfortunate military-industrial complex that kind of governs our policy so much in Washington, D.C. So you know firsthand exactly what we're up against, but also, you've devoted yourself to a service that many people haven't done. And you have unique insight that so many people don't have. So thank you for that. Speaking of anti-war, thank you, Sonia, for your message of being anti-war there a little while ago. I'm fully embrace that message. I'm anti-war to the core, and I'm happy to see that we have libertarian candidates for federal office across the country spreading the anti-war message. It's what brought me into the party, and it's what can bring so many other people into the party right now who are frustrated and sick and tired of seeing a war party in both the Republicans and the Democrats, and being the anti-war party. That anti-war to the core party is what's going to bring so many new libertarians into this process who are just sick and tired of seeing our taxpayer money being used to go kill people overseas. Thank you for that. Matt, thank you for being a devoted candidate out in Florida. We got so many Florida candidates. It's amazing. I just feel like, it's like Florida and everyone else here today. But thank you, Matt, for being a fantastic candidate out there. And we're happy to have endorsed your campaign. And being a devoted libertarian, somebody who's speaking that message locally to their community, is what we need more and more up and down the ticket. Rob out there in Utah, thank you so much for representing the Liberty Utah values. The fact that says that you can, run your life, run your family, run your faith, however you want to, just do it in peace, representing that live and let live message of the Mountain West that we need more and more of in this process, that we don't see enough from Republicans and Democrats. I'm happy to see more and more Utahns waking up to the fact that they have a choice outside of a two-party system that can represent them and their values, no matter what those values are, because we ask that you only keep the government out of it. And that's that spirit of individuality and live and let live we want to spread across the country, not just in the Mountain West, but everywhere else. And as I'm shouting out candidates, I would be remiss if I did not shout out the best damn running mate a guy could have, Mike Termott, my candidate for vice president, somebody who has been a full-fledged partner in this campaign, traveling across the country. Mike just got off a plane a little while ago, going from Iowa to Wisconsin, getting out there and speaking the libertarian message and speaking our campaign's message across the country. He's helped us divide and conquer this process. So if you don't see me in your state or your community, there's a good chance you're probably going to see Mike out there. We're doing as much as we can to get out there as much as possible, and that does lead me to ask for your support in this campaign. If you can go to votechaseoliver.com and give to this campaign, or share this campaign with your friends and neighbors, and let people know that we have a powerful, positive, principled libertarian messenger who's ready to challenge the two-party system and even the other independent candidates out there spreading the libertarian message. Please go to votechaseoliver.com. If you can't support the campaign, sign up to volunteer for the campaign. We have over 1,000 volunteers all over the country doing amazing work, from even things like sign waving, phone banking, text banking, get out the vote efforts, knocking on those doors. We need people across the country to do that, not just for my campaign, but for those of us who I just named out there. We need to support those campaigns too, and we want to make sure we're doing that as a campaign. That's one of the things I'm devoted to doing. There's a lot of metrics of victory. We want to win this campaign. God knows I want to get elected president so I can go in front of a microphone as soon as I take the oath of office and pardon Ross Ulbricht, pardon Julian Assange, pardon Edward Snowden, pardon Leonard Peltier, start pardoning everybody who's in federal prison who doesn't need to be there for a victimless crime, and start actually the process of spreading the message of liberty. I want to get in front of a microphone and tell the people that we're going to have a foreign policy rooted in free trade, not in bombing other people with drone bombs and killing innocent people. I want to do that. And that's the ultimate victory we can have. But there's a lot of other victories we can have in this campaign. We can win ballot access in states across the country. I see Libertarian Party of Georgia listening in right now. My vote totals are depending upon the ballot access for my state. And I so desperately want to make sure we continue having libertarian candidates up and down the ballot statewide to be running in the Libertarian Party of Georgia under our banner without having to go through the process of ballot access gathering. And so support me, because that's what's going to happen in states like Georgia and others that need the Libertarian candidate for president to get those ballot access totals. It's not just about me. If it were just about me, I could get it. But we got to get off the sidelines, because this is not just about me. This is about the Libertarian Party. This is about spreading the message of liberty up and down the ballot, across the country, across our communities, and saying loud and clear that the most local governance is our own self-governance, and everything else needs to be decentralized as much as possible to the most local level that we can. And that's what I'm seeking to do. That's when I'm so happy to hear these messengers of liberty that have come before me on this call, on this X Space, have been saying, you know, I'm energized. I'm energized hearing these messengers, hearing these people up and down the ticket who are going to spread this message, and I'm honored. I'm so honored to be the candidate for president. You know, I've campaigned across all 50 states because I think it's important to hear the message of liberty in every state across this country. And it's not just me that's going to do that. It's going to be libertarian candidates across all 50 states that are going to be doing that. I'm happy to announce that we're well on the path to have ballot access as an official candidate on the ballot in 48 states, and being a write-in candidate. Unfortunately, having to be a write-in candidate in Illinois, New York, and Washington, D.C. But that's because ballot access barriers have been put up and continue to be raised as we continue to raise our prominence. And I'm going to do everything I can to fight for ballot access across this country, fight for major party status across this country, and fight to support local libertarians like those who are on this call running for office in a way that can make our party proud, unify this party as much as possible, because, you know, I recognize we're family. Family argues from time to time. But when push comes to shove, we need to loudly say to the Republican Party, to the Democratic Party, and to any other party that pushes statism and authoritarianism that there is a libertarian option on the ballot, that liberty is on the ballot across the country. And that's what I'm fighting for. Now, I know you asked some people for some insightful things they may have learned across the country. There are way too many stories for me to tell them all, but I just want to highlight a few. I want to highlight the young lady that I met in the state of Idaho who was born with birth defects because her father was exposed to depleted uranium ammunition. And she worries about the children of Ukraine being given depleted uranium ammo and what it's going to look like for those kids who are out there. And they desperately want to see ourselves remove ourselves both from DU ammo, but also from the war machine overseas. That young lady got to tell me her story. And unfortunately, the next day she had to go through a surgery where she lost the ability to speak. I was probably the last person she got to tell that story to. So it sticks with me in my heart as I go across the country speaking against the war machine, because I wish she could tell that story more and more. She can't right now. So I'm going to keep telling that story and keep speaking out against the war machine for people like her. It's for people like the mom I met in Iowa at the state fair last week, who told me about how she wants her kids to be able to play extracurricular sports, but she knows that right now, due to inflation, she's not going to be able to afford for her kid to play on softball because she can't afford the equipment, she can't afford the away games and the hotel room bills to go and support her daughter. And that's a shame. That's a shame that the debt and deficits that our government has run has caused her dollars to become worthless, has created the inflation that now makes it more and more difficult for her, not even just to put her kids through school, extracurriculars, but just buy the school supplies that her kids need to become learners and critical thinkers. You know, and it's not just kids stuck in the school system. I hear from homeschool parents, and I've just heard from them on my X account, that they're having the cost of living increasing, and that's affecting their ability to raise their kids in a homeschool environment. So it's actually reducing the amount of choices these parents have for education. I want to fight for the people who lost their businesses due to arbitrary lockdowns all across this country that didn't do anything to stop the spread of COVID. I've had friends who lost their small business. I hear from people who had to say goodbye to their loved ones through plexiglass or through a plastic sheet. Couldn't hold their hands. Those are the people I think about. It's people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired of a two-party system that takes them for granted. That's who I'm fighting for. And that's who we're all fighting for in the Libertarian Party. That's who all of these candidates you've heard from are fighting for. And I'm happy to be leading the charge. I'm happy to be the point of the spear against statism. And I hope each and every one of you can join me doing that as I travel across the country, as my running mate Mike Termott travels across the country, and as these candidates you've heard from, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of others who are fighting for offices all up and down the ticket. I hope you can join them in fighting for liberty. Go to votechaseoliver.com. If you want to follow me here, I'm at Chase for Liberty on all the major platforms. But I want to thank you Each and every one of you, those of you who voted for me at convention, those of you who were skeptical, I hope through the hard work of this campaign, I hope through the work that myself and Mike are doing across the country, we can spread the message of liberty and fight against an authoritarian state that too often takes advantage of families across this country, of people across this country who are having a tougher time living in this country because of the abuses of the state, both the policies of the state and the massive out-of-control debt and deficit spending that is leading us careening towards a financial calamity that if we don't stop, our kids or our grandkids are going to be suffering the consequences of for decades to come. I want to make sure that we have a better life for our kids and our grandkids. I know I'm an uncle to 7 nephews and nieces, and I want to make sure they have a better, more free existence and don't have to live with the sins of the past of authoritarians who have been elected to office. It's time for us to fight for a new generation. It's time for us to fight for what's coming next, because I guarantee you, we cannot stick ourselves to the politics of the past. We have to tear those walls down and fight for something better. So let's build a foundation for the Libertarian Party up in states across the country so that we can tear down the state brick by brick, and state houses and legislatures and county commissions and city councils all across the country. If you're ready to fight, I'm ready to fight. And I hope each and every one of you feels inspired to join this campaign and other libertarian campaigns in your neighborhood. Get off of X. I know it's funny I'm saying this on X, but get off the internet, get out in the streets, talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, inspire them to join this party, inspire them to join these campaigns and these efforts, and get out and support these candidates, including myself. I urge you to do it. Why? Because time is ticking. Each and every day, this government spends $8.9 billion in deficit spending. Each and every day, every single day, $9 billion pretty much goes down the toilet. If you think that's acceptable, then sit on the sideline. If you think that's disgusting, if you think that's spending our children's future today for the expedience of politics and bought out politicians who are bought and traded for like auction at a cat or like cattle at an auction, if you think that's disgusting, join the Libertarian Party, join our effort and fight and spread the message of this campaign. And I want to thank each and every one of you for doing the work you've already done. I see some amazing people who have already donated to this campaign, who have worked hard, and who I look forward to supporting as I travel across the country.
Excellent. Well said, Chase. Thank you so much. We appreciate your dedication to the cause and to the Libertarian Party. Please, everyone, please go follow Chase Oliver. Check out his campaign website. We would also love it if you want to get more involved in the Libertarian Party. You can go to lp.org, learn about us. If you want to become a sustaining member, it's just $25 a year to become a sustaining member. And we will definitely get you involved in your state affiliate. If you want to find your state affiliate, you don't know where to go, just in the comments, just say, hey, I live in this state, and we'll try to tag your state affiliate party and get someone into contact with you so we can get that going. Really, this, from what I've observed, that this is basically just a networking game. We're out there. There are people that love liberty out there. They need to be found, and we need to build those networks that are going to support a more free future by bringing everyone together and not tearing networks apart. So thanks everyone for joining this space. I'll try to do another one definitely in September. We are also working on, and I don't want to make any promises, working on maybe figuring out a way to export the audio for these spaces and creating a Libertarian Party national podcast or RSS feed. I think everyone would probably enjoy that immensely. So, and then we can have more conversations like this. We can get the word out when we have different projects or candidates that we want to talk about. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks again for coming, and we will do this again soon. Cheers, everyone. Good night.
Peace, love, and liberty, y'all.